So just to explain what we're going to be doing, because some of you may not know, but I've been asked about this a million times, and it's about time that I actually answer the question once and for all. That way I'll never have to ask it again. Oh, I won't have to answer it again. But what people have been wanting to know for the longest time is I did videos on move transition. Yeah. We're not starting the video, Exeldra. We're gonna make a new scene here, and then I'll explain how I did it. We'll do a live video for the Nutty VODs channel. But what people have been asking me for the longest time is like, hey, doing move transition is cool, right? Like I can do transitions like this, no problem, you know? Or maybe we can do things like this. Like you just install a plugin. Like pretty much everybody knows how to do this now. It's pretty, I would say, pretty mainstream to be able to do cool transitions like this where things animate. But what if you wanted to have one scene here that has sharp corners, and then another scene here that is like this but has rounded corners, or maybe like this, and it has a 3D effect, right? So we'll go perspective, and we'll change the, nope, that's the wrong one. We'll change the yaw, something like that. Uncrop this. Like we want to have like a scene like this where, like, you know, one scene that's tilted here, and then we go back to this scene, it like animates back to being like flat kind of thing. And I know the answer to that. It fucking sucks. So basically, yeah, we're gonna do that. But I'm not gonna do the explanation right now. I'm just gonna do it and then I'll explain it, yeah? What do you say, nifty noob? It's not just move value 1030. It's move value, but triggered by scene transitions. And there's, let me tell you that one difference of adding rounded corners in the 3D transform is just makes it 20 times more complicated. So I have a question. Look, Albert, all right? Your sister and I are in love, all right? Stop trying to get in our way. What up, Albert? What do you need help with? What do you need help with? Hi, YouTube. This isn't going on YouTube yet. I mean, it technically is, because everything goes on YouTube. Hello, Amish Ace. I want Albert to spit out this shit that he needs from this garbage, yeah? Alright, so let's do it. So, how are we gonna do this? This is gonna be annoying. Okay, so I'm trying to use the blink shader, but it never restarts when I make source visible and invisible. It's never consistent. You're using the blink shader? It never restarts when I make the source visible and invisible. What's the blink shader? I've never used that one before. User defined shader. Where'd you get the blink shader from? Blink? How does this work? Speed. 200. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Sorry. It doesn't restart? Is that what you mean? This one? What do you think about scripts? Do I use any? Yeah, I use a lot. Or not a lot. I use like a handful of scripts. Yes, I do use scripts. I wanted to simulate a flash. Like, there are times where it starts in the middle of the flash. What you can do is you can restart the filter. So you're using Leorin board, right? You should sync it so that when you turn the source on, or whenever you turn the source off, you also turn off the filter. So when you turn the filter and the source back on... Oh shit, it does start in the middle. Never mind. Am I dumb? Have you considered just, Boo! Have you considered just, you know, just doing it? Oh, it starts like in the middle like that. I mean, if you were really bothered, this is not an easy solution, but you would use your sick programming skills to dynamically add the blink shader every time. But that's not easy to do. I wouldn't expect you to know how to do that, Albert. But there is a way that you can dynamically add the shader every time, so it would start from the beginning. But it's not easy to do. I don't know how to help you with that. I don't know how to help you with that, Albert. Anyway, I need to go back to doing this rounded corners thing, yeah? So let's actually make it. What are our scenes gonna look like, yeah? How about we do something like this? Let's start simple. We'll have our camera here. We'll have our game scene here. We'll add a media source, Apex Legends, just because that's a cool game. And we'll have Apex super small in the corner here. We'll add filters. This one will add user-defined shader. This one will be our rounded corners shader. Add the shader. Rounded corners. Rounded rectangle. There we go. We'll add this a corner radius of like 70 or something. I need to zoom in for this so you guys can see what I'm doing. What a corner radius? Let's just say I have 100 to make it exaggerated. Rounded corners here. And let's copy that same shader. Copy to our camera, because when we go into the scene here, what we would want is to animate the corners out of this scene and then have our camera be rounded like that, something like that, right? Let's make it more exaggerated. Let's just make it 200 just so you guys can really see the difference. And then this one will also be 200. We want to make it super exaggerated. Can you do a different amount of randomness for each corner? Oh, you'll see, my friend. You'll see how it works. And then for this one, let's also add a 3D transform. So this will be our 3D transform. We'll have to do this after doing the rounded corners. Remember, filters happen in sequential order, so if you're going to tilt it in 3D, you need to do that after you take the corners off. So perspective, we're going to tilt shift it the yaw like this, and then we're going to use this field of view to zoom out like that. Boom. Yeah, looks like pure sex right there, guys. Yep. And so basically, when we do our scene transition, we would want this to get rid of the rounded corners, but also turn flat. So when we go to our game scene, we should get rid of the 3D-ness for all of that. All right, so we got all that. What about our split screen? How do we want our split screen to look? How about for a split screen? This is, guys, this is annoying. Let me tell you, we have 3 scenes here. We only have 3 scenes here. I'm telling you, this is fucked. If you want to do rounded corners, it's super fucked, okay? Telling you. The crop has to come before the rounded corners. And we're going to do... Actually, no. What's 1920 divided by 2 is 960. So we'll take 480 off both sides. Yeah, 500. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. Filters. Crop, crop, crop. I'm telling you, this is so stupid, guys. Whoever wants to do this, good luck. Good luck. Because this is not easy. Maybe we'll make it slightly smaller. Center vertically. We'll move this in by 20 pixels. Or 50. Copy, transform, paste, I don't know why anyone's scene would want their scene to look like this. Like, I don't understand why, but it doesn't matter. It'll take 20 off this side. So 46. There we go. So when we switch to the split screen, I guess we'll take off the rounded corners and the 3D. I don't know why anyone would want a scene that would... I don't know why anyone would want a scene that looks like this. But just for the purpose of, like, making this tutorial. Apex gameplay, yeah. It's my stock gameplay. And we'll get rid of the rounded corners. Or maybe what we'll do is we'll have rounded corners, but this will be a different value, yeah? We'll just make, instead of, like... We'll make it just, like, 40. Instead of this. And rounded corners here will be, like, 40. So basically, we'll have a scene that kind of looks like this. Maybe we'll move this in a bit more, yeah? 100. What was this before? 900. Nope, that's too much. Bring it back in. We'll subtract 40 from this. 60, something like this. We'll have a scene that looks like this. Again, I don't know why anyone would want a scene that looks like this, but just to animate it. TikTok view. Okay, so we have our different scenes that we want to have, but how do we actually animate it between scenes? Because you see, it looks super weird. All right. We're going to start animating it now. You guys ready? You guys ready to see how painful this is? It's painful. I'm telling you, it's so painful. Here's how you do it, okay? So for every single scene, this is what you're going to do. So first we're going to ignore the gameplay, right? Ignore the gameplay. We'll turn off all the filters for the gameplay. So it's just a nice flat thing for the gameplay. We're going to work just on our camera. We're going to work just on animating the camera to get the rounded corners just for the camera, yeah? Let's get into animate! Maybe I should make this part of the video. So we have our rounded corners. We'll turn it on. And we're going to turn on our crop, but we will... we'll leave the crop for now. Oh, wait. Shit. Shit. What are we doing? Sorry. Wrong source. Camera. Turn off the crop. We'll focus just on the rounded corners for the camera. Nope. We don't use streamer bot at all. Zero streamer bot is used for this. None. This is all done directly with OBS. Why crop instead of alt? Aha! You've asked a great question. You'll see why, okay? So here's what we want to do, okay? So we got a camera here. It's full screen. Ignore the gameplay footage for now. But what we want to do is we want to animate it so that we crop our game down. and it becomes like shrunk down in the corner, and we'll try to make it square shaped, right? So here's what we're gonna do, okay? We'll focus just on adding the rounded corners, okay? Ignore like the crop for now. We're gonna add just the rounded corners. So we're gonna add filters. We're gonna add, this is what you need to do. You need to add a move value filter to your scene here, okay? To our just chatting scene, right? We're gonna call this, you'll see why I do this in a second. We're gonna call this rounded corners. No, wait. Camera? Rounded corners. Just chatting. Okay. We'll zoom in on that. So basically what this filter does is you can animate a particular filter. That makes sense. Or a setting on a particular filter. For example, we want to animate the corner radius of our camera every time we switch scenes. So on our, think of it this way, our cameras on our just chatting scene here, we don't want any rounded corners, so our corner radius is going to be 0, right? But when we switch to our game scene, we want to animate the corner radius to have a value of, let's say, 200, right? So that's the thing we're animating. The corner radius. Not move value in this scene. Move source, sorry. That's, yeah. Sorry, yeah, it's fucking, it's, I did it on the wrong one. Copy this. So we're going to add that to our camera. We're going to add that to our camera here. Oops. I don't know why I can't add it. Anyway. So I'm going to say rounded corners. Just chatting. Is that what we want to do? So wait, I'm going to add a separate... Oh, wait, why can't I add shit here? We've crashed OBS! Oh, wait, no, we haven't. Why is it bugging out on me? Why is it bugging out on me? Hello? Our second OBS is bugging out. Why is it bugging out? Hello? Why are you being weird? Okay, let's do that again. First of all, we're gonna add like a separator here. Ignore this. This serves no purpose. It's just a separator. We're gonna move value. Rounded corners. Just chatting. I feel ignored. Good. Get over it. I'm trying to do shit. Unless you're talking about you sub right now. Thanks, Raj Gamer. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. Sorry, I didn't see this from half an hour ago. What's up, Rondi? Alright. Here's what we're gonna do. We have this, we're gonna work on animating the rounded corners just for our camera, okay? So what we did is we added a move value filter, which is how we do that, right? So we've got this here. We want to animate our rounded corners filter, and we want to animate a single setting. That single setting will be the corner radius, right? So we're going to set this corner radius. Let's just say it's to 200 and see, watch what happens, right? When we click on this button here that says start, look what happens to the corner radius. It does fucking nothing because I did nothing. Oh, I didn't turn it on. I need to turn it on. Well, let's do that again. If I set it to 0 and press start. You guys see that? I'll have to zoom out on that. We're going to set the corner radius again here. We're going to set it to, we'll exaggerate, 500. And then click the button here that says start. So it does the animation, right? See how it animates? What we're going to do is we're going to turn off this custom duration. If you turn off custom duration, what it will do is it will use the duration, the same duration as the scene transition. So it's at 1 second here. It will slow down the animation to 1 second, which is what you want. So always turn off custom duration here. If I turn this to 0 again, and then I press start, or I just click on this here, click on the eyeball thing. See how it animates like that? You guys see what I'm doing? So we have the animated corner radius. It's going, right? Our next goal that now that we have it animating is how do we activate that corner radius every single time you change scene? Well, the solution fucking sucks, okay? But the solution is basically for every single scene, you're gonna have to do this, okay? So if you have more scenes, it'll be painful. You're gonna duplicate this move value here, and this will be the value that you use for your game scene. We're gonna duplicate this. This will be the value that you use for your split screen. So all these scenes here, if you have like 20 different scenes, you're gonna have to do this 20 times for one property, okay? And there may be many properties you want to change, all right? Dude, I'm telling you, we are 5% of the way there. Okay? We're only like 5% of the way there. It's fucking complicated, all right? So let's just say our corner radius on our just chatting scene is going to be 0 because we don't want to have a corner radius. We want it to be sharp. For our game scene, we want to have like a value of 200 for our corner radius because we want it to be rounded. And let's just say for our split screen, we want it to be rounded but not as rounded. So we're going to have a value of like, let's just say 40. Okay, we changed the value for each of these filters. And our goal is when we change to a particular scene, we want to activate this move value filter to change the corner radius property. You know what I'm saying? This should be the video. This part should be the video, but it's going to be an hour. No, this isn't even the video, guys. So the way to do that is now you have to go to every single scene. Now that you have the filters, you have to go to every single scene. Then you have to add a move source filter. So basically this move source filter here, for every scene it does nothing. If you know what move source is, does anyone know what move source is? Move source is like a filter that you can add to a source inside OBS to like move it around the screen. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to add a move source filter, and we're going to just call this rounded corners. Or just say this is animate rounded corners. So what is the purpose of this move source filter? Well, we're not going to move our scene because we don't need to do that. We don't want to move our scene. That's not what we're trying to do. So we're actually going to turn off transform here. The transform is like what moves your scene. So we're just going to turn it off. Okay. We're going to select our, well, actually we're going to set just our camera here. This duration here could just be, you can just leave that. We're going to set our simultaneous move. Okay. This is what you're going to do. You're going to set your you're going to change two things here, right? When you add your move source, you're going to change, first of all, your simultaneous move, and you're going to select the rounded corners, right? You guys see where I'm going with this? Select the rounded corners filter that you added to your camera for your just chatting scene. Remember, we're in a just chatting scene here, yeah? So we're going to add the rounded corners filter as our simultaneous move. And then we're going to add a start trigger. The start trigger is going to be, I believe it's activate. Set the start trigger to activate. What this basically does is when you switch to your just chatting scene here, because you've set the start trigger to activate, it's going to trigger this move source filter, which does absolutely nothing. Okay? The actual filter here does nothing. All it does is it will quickly turn on and will do nothing. Because we're not moving our scene around. Like, that's what a move source does, right? So we've added a move source. The only reason why we want to turn this filter on is because we want to run this simultaneous move. right? So essentially what we have to do is for every single scene, we're going to copy this. We're going to copy this. Go to filters. We're going to paste it here too. Same thing. The only difference is instead of using the just chatting version of our rounded corner filter, we're going to use this game one, which has a different value for the corner radius. And so if I've done it correctly... Oh shit, sorry. What am I doing? It fucking animates. Look at that. Now you can't move, you can't change scenes too quickly, but look at it. See, you see the rounded corners here? When I switch to my game scene, fucking animates. We're getting there, right? We're getting there. And then we have to do the same thing for our third scene, which is our split screen. Now our split screen has a different value for the corner radius, right? Because we don't want it to be that rounded. So we're going to go here, filters, go in again, paste a filter, animated rounded corners. And then we're going to say our simultaneous move will be the rounded corners animation thing. But this time for a split screen, which is our third scene, split screen, right? Which is a... So we'll go back to this scene here, our game scene, which has a very rounded corner. But when we go to our split screen, it's still going to be rounded, but not as rounded. See how it's not as rounded there? Because we set a different value for that. If you go to our camera here, the value that we're using for our corner radius is set to 40. Whereas for a game, it's really high. It's 200, right? So we've done the first step, right? Which is our corners are animating. It's fucking awesome, right? It's fucking awesome. It's automated. There's no streamer bot. This is all within OBS. This is all done within OBS. Unfortunately, it gets super complicated. Because we're not done yet. We're not done yet, okay? We're not even halfway, guys. I know it looks like we're done. Guys, we're not even halfway, okay? It's fucking complicated, right? Because think about it this way. See, normally, let's ignore a game, yeah? So let's just disable our game here. For all of it, right? Let's pay attention to this game scene here, right? See, normally when you use move transition, what you can do is if I go to this smaller one here, I can just press Alt and drag in from the sides. Like, let's say I want to have something square. I just drag it from the sides. Move transition will just take that crop into consideration and will animate the crop for us. So we don't even have to think about that. We just drag it in from the corners. Super cool. Life is awesome. That's great, right? Unfortunately, for our camera, it ain't so simple. It ain't so simple. Why? Because look at this. First of all, again, you can't scene transition too quickly with this, otherwise it breaks it. It's not so simple, right? Because let's just say on this here, let's just say here for my camera, I want to have it more square. I still want the rounded corners, but I want it to be square. So I'm going to press Alt and drag from the sides. Sorry, homie. You've just lost your rounded corners because you've cropped it off. Sorry, homie. It's gone. So how do we deal with that, right? How do we deal with this problem we have? Do we just give up? Do we give up? No. Because we ain't no bitches, alright? We ain't no bitches. We don't give up like that. Guys, I might actually make this the video. I don't know. This is actually a really good video. It's just really long. Anyway. Turn off noise suppression. So here's our solution, okay? This is why I said it gets really fucking complicated, right? What we're going to do now that we have our rounded corner filter animating, what we're going to do instead is we're going to add a crop filter before the rounded corners. Because what it's going to do, remember, this is an order. It's going to crop the screen in, then it will round the corners off, right? So we'll add a crop filter, and we'll leave values of 0 here, yeah? This crop filter does nothing. What we have to do now is we have to do the same thing that we did for the rounded corners, but this time for the crop filter. So in addition to animating the rounding off of the corners, we also have to animate the cropping in from the filter. This is for 3 scenes, guys. This is for 3. Look how many fucking scenes I have in my setup, right? Think of how many, how many times I had to do it. Look at my camera, yeah? This is my live scenes. I had to add all these rounded corners just to round the corners. And then, oh, by the way, I also had to do it again for all the crops. Lame. It was so fucking annoying. Anyway, enough complaining. That's my real OBS setup. So yeah, we basically have to do that now. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing here. Make a duplicate. This one will be for the crop filter. Okay. Remember, the crop has to come first, but like these ones underneath this line, these are just, animation. Like the order here doesn't really matter. So instead of animating the rounded corners filter, we're going to animate the crop filter. And instead of single setting, we're going to change it to settings because we actually want to change every single value. So we're going to want to animate every value here. So for a just chatting scene, we don't want to crop anything in at all because it's just a full camera. So we're going to have a 0 crop here, which is fine. Again, no custom duration because we want this to change. If we want to have a faster animation, we will change the scene transition here. So whenever you turn off custom duration, it's going to use whatever value you have in your scene transitions here. And everything else should be pretty much the same. So you have to do this. Remember, for every single scene, you're going to have to do this. So if you add another scene, you're going to have to add another rounded corners thing to each of these. So crop, we're going to have this for our game scene. I should probably turn the music off in case I make a video out of this. So we're going to crop here. We're going to change the settings. For our game scene, we'll crop off maybe 500 from the left and 500 from the right. And, no, how about we'll just do, for this one, we'll do 200 from the left, 200 from the right, and then duplicate this again. This one will be for a split screen. And we're going to have different values for this, maybe 500 to make it like more TikTok formatted, you know, vertical formatted. So for a crop scene, it's going to look like this. We'll click start. It'll kind of look like this. It'll also apply this filter here. So on our split screen, it will look like that. Our game scene will look like this. Maybe we'll add in a bit. No, we'll leave it like this. Yeah. Leave it like this. Press OK, press close. And then now we have to go to all of our scenes again. Guys, I told you this was painful. I told you this was painful. Now you have to go to all your scenes, filters. Do the same thing here, but this time for crop, so we're going to make a duplicate. This one will be for a crop filter. Remember, this move source thing does absolutely nothing. All it does is trigger those filters that we just made. So we're going to trigger our just chatting as crop as our simultaneous move. We'll copy this, and then we have to do the same thing for every single fucking scene, okay? Every single fucking scene we're going to have to do this. If you have like 20 scenes, may God have mercy on your soul, okay? So now look at it. Again, ignore the actual gameplay. Ignore the gameplay. Now when we change scenes, if I did it right, it animates the rounded corners. Maybe I'll slow down the transition so you guys can see it better. So we made it 3,000, 3 seconds for transition. We'll go back to our thing, our big scene. I'll make it bigger for you. We'll go back to our just chatting scene. See how it slowly becomes sharp? And then go back to our game scene. Slowly becomes round and crops it in. Then we go to our split screen. Makes it like TikTok formatted, you know? Oh, it's looking fucking great, guys. It's looking fucking awesome. So that's just for our camera. Okay. That's just for our camera. Now we're going to have to do the same thing for our game scene. That was so good. I told you it's painful. We're not done yet, though. Now we're going to have to work on our game scene. So for our game scene, we're going to do the same thing, but we also want to include a 3D tilt effect. So we're going to have 3 different filters that we're potentially going to be animating, right? So let me just copy the separator from here. This is just a separator. It does nothing. This is so painful, guys. This is so painful. Hi, Yippee Key Slay. My day's good. My day's good. So you can basically just like copy filters. So rounded corners is basically like the same thing. But this time, maybe on our just chatting scene here. So we'll set this to 0 crop. Get rid of the crop. Get rid of the rounded corners. Get rid of everything here. The 3D one is super painful as well, just so you guys know. And I get why you need a backup process. It's painful to do it from scratch. Yeah, you guys were like, Nutty, why don't you just rebuild your OBS? I'm like, no. Do you understand how long it took to make my scenes the way they did? So yeah, we're going to do rounded corners. Now we're working on a game scene. On our just chatting scene, I think I want some rounded corners. So like, let's add... I don't know, 100. Click on this eyeball thing to see how much it rounds it. And I think we want to round a bit more than that. Just let's make it exaggerated just for this example. Let's make it 200. Yeah, so in our just chatting scene, I want something that looks kind of like this, yeah? I haven't even talked about adding a drop shadow, and I'm not going to. I'm not even going to. Yeah, you can disable the separators as well. Yeah, it's true. I'm not even going to talk about adding the drop shadows because you're on your own, guys. Sorry. So we're going to do the same thing. For our gameplay, we're going to make a duplicate. This one will be for our game scene. On our game screen, we don't want any rounded corners. We want sharp corners, so this will be set to 0. So this will be sharp corners. Oops, sorry. 0. Sharp corners. And then I think for our split screen, this will be set to 40. All right, so that's just for the rounded corners. Then we have to do the same thing for the crop. So you have to make 3 things for the crop here, right? These are settings. There will be 0 crop. Sorry, filter, crop. We don't want to have any crop. Sorry, we need to rename this. It's crop. Just chatting. No crop for their just chatting scene, so everything will be in 0. Make a duplicate. This will be for our game scene. Again, we don't want any values here, so we'll also leave this at 0. And then this one here will be for our split screen. We do want to crop this, so we'll crop this to 500. Crop this to 500. So that will, like, crop it in like that kind of thing. And then our other scenes will be, like, no crop. Guys... Oh my fucking god. We're like about halfway. We're like halfway, guys. We're getting there, okay? We're getting there. But we're like halfway. We're like halfway. Oh, maybe over halfway. Now we have to deal with the 3D, okay? Because you guys asked, like, how about if we tilt this in 3D as well? So because we want to tilt the source in 3D as well, we're going to have to do the same 3 things here, right? So we're going to have to do this, make a duplicate. This one will be for 3D transform, just chatting. We're going to be working on a 3D transform filter. We're going to be changing the settings. So for a just chatting scene, we don't want to have, we do want to have a tilt. So we'll get the value here because I kind of like the tilt values here. So it's going to change our field of view. It's going to change our rotation. For our game scene, we want basically nothing. So we want this to be 90, which is the default value, and 0 rotation. All right. So if you look what happens, if I click on the eyeball thing, it's going to rotate like this. See how it rotated? And if I click on the just chatting scene, rotates again. All right, and then we'll make a duplicate again. This one will be for a split screen. This one, again, will be the same. We don't want any rotation. So everything here should be 0. This should be 90, which is default. So no rotation there. Okay, good. We have all our filters that we need. Oh my fuck me. Okay, all right. Need a fucking break here. Now we need to go into all of our scenes, and then go and add filters again for our gameplay source. And every scene will have 3 filters because the gameplay source had 3 filters. So you got to add 9 filters right now. three filters per scene. So I'm going to make a duplicate of this. This one will be animate. Shit, I should have, you need to put like the name of the source here so it's organized. I forgot to do that. So this will be for like our Apex Legends source. Sorry. Just pretend that I named camera here because you got to like be able to differentiate whatever. If you know, you know. This one we're working on our, I'm pretty sure we have to select the Apex one. Do we? Or do we not even have to select that? I don't even think we have to select our source here. I'm pretty sure I just have to select the... We want to animate the... No, we do, don't we? Yeah, we do. Select your Apex Legends source. This will be for the crop. So you have to say crop just chatting. I think. See, I'm already lost and there's only 3 scenes. Crop just chatting. Make a duplicate. This one will be for the rounded corners. Rounded corners, just chatting. Make a duplicate. Fuck me. 3D transform, because we're also going to be doing that. Oh my god. I want to quit streaming altogether. 3D transform, just chatting. All right, so we got our 3 sources here. Just for my sanity, I'm going to change this. Sorry. Okay, just for my sanity. You got to do this. You got to be able to differentiate like what the filters are for. There we go. Now we got to like, I wish I could like highlight, copy like multiple filters, but you can't really do that. So we're unfortunately going to have to copy paste this. Paste. I don't even think Control V even works here. Nope. Yep. Crop. This is gonna, but you have to change the simultaneous one. So this is for split screen crop. This one will be for our game crop. Then come back here. You gotta add every filter here, guys. You gotta do it. You can't skip any steps. If you skip any steps, it's not gonna look great. It's not gonna look great. This is our animate for rounded corners. No. Is it? Shit. What are we doing? I think I did it wrong. Did I do it wrong? No, I did it right. Okay, good. Game, rounded corners. Nope, split screen rounded corners. Then we have to do it for 3D transform. So go back here, copy. I can't believe I'm doing this on the internet, guys. 3D transform for our game. And then 3D transform for our split. Split screen. Okay. So if I did this right, guys, if I did it right, when I switch scenes, it goes from, unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with the thing, how it like, you see how it has like the cut in the middle because they're like, whatever, you're just going to deal with it. It's not as noticeable if you make your transition fast, like 750, like what I do. If you make it 750, it's not as noticeable. You see how it like splits in the middle? It's not that bad. It's just exaggerated because I make it really slow. But yeah, so let me just like full screen this so you can actually see it better. So here's our scene. So if you switch to my just chatting scene, really slow, you can see the corners up here, up there, they're sharp. And then when I go to my game scene, they become rounded, and it also makes it a little bit more square. The gameplay source goes from 3D to flat. So if I go back to my just chatting scene, it's going to go back to 3D with rounded corners. And then I can switch to my split screen, which looks like this. Hopefully if I did it right, rounded corners, both cropped in. And yeah, that's all done within OBS without using external programs. It's all just by using filters and stuff. But that's essentially how I do that. Now, I don't know how I'm going to explain how to do this in like 10 minutes. Can't you copy all filters? Yeah, but then it copies all the filters. Plus all the filters are different per scene.